Hey y'all, today's video is a really quick tutorial about how to add a drop pin to your real estate video. Super easy and just another way you can add a little more value for your clients. Just a quick note that next week I have a video that I'm going to be putting out about how to put together a quick realtor video for Instagram marketing. I'm pretty excited about it, so if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified as soon as that one goes live. All right, so let's do it. All right, so we're in Adobe Premiere and I've got my clip loaded up as well as my drop pin. You can find a ton of these by just doing a quick search on Google. And I've also got some music that I brought in for this so you can kind of see how I tie that in as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is just click and drag my drop in onto the timeline. And I'm going to click and extend this all the way out to match the length of the clip. And the first thing I want to do is scale this down. So I want to make sure that I'm clicking on the thumbnail itself. And then I'm going to come over here to scale and just scale it down to the size that I want. And over here, this is actually the house that I was shooting. So I'm going to scale it down and then try to move it over to make sure it's on the house itself. Now I'm going to go over to position and kind of drag it around. So this is, left and right position and up and down position. And I want to make sure that my playhead is at the beginning of the frame or the clip. And then I'm going to move the position around to where I want it. So let's move this up to the top of the house and then maybe move it over to the middle somewhere around here. And then I just want to take note of exactly where it's at, because when I move the playhead to the end, the house is obviously going to move. And the way we're going to have the drop pin follow along with the house is just by keyframing it. So now that we have it where we want it, I'm going to click on this stopwatch on the position, and then I'm going to move my playhead over to the end. And an easy, quick way to do this, instead of dragging it over and trying to get right on the end, is just to hit your down arrow, and that's going to move your playhead all the way to the end. It's actually one frame after the end. So to go back to the very last frame, I'm going to hit my left arrow, and now I'm on the very last frame. And now we're going to move this arrow down, and when I hit that keyframe over here, it actually made this little keyframe right in the corner. It's kind of hard to see right there, but it is there. And once I move this, since we're in a new place, it's going to create a new keyframe right there. So as soon as I move this, it's already created a new keyframe, and I can just drag this around to where I want it. And let's say right there looks good to me. So let's see what that looks like if I hit the space bar just to hit play. And that's it. It followed along pretty much perfectly. I mean, when you get into a little more advanced movements where the house isn't in an exactly straight line, your keyframing might look a little different than this. But for this one, it's pretty simple. And this is pretty standard for me. I do these every day, so it's almost exactly the same process for me every time. This is would be my intro shot for any video. So I'll kind of show you how I put it all together with music. So I'm going to unmute the music, go back to the beginning of the track, and hit play. So at the very beginning, I don't even want the drop pin to be showing at all. I just want the house to be shown by itself, and I want to have it fade in. So I'll go maybe right here, just like a half a second or so into the video, and I'll click on the clip, and I'm going to keyframe the opacity for this. So I'm going to keyframe it at 100%, and I've got a keyframe right there. And then if I go back to the beginning of the video and reduce the opacity to 0, and now we've faded in the video. I actually kind of felt like that happened a little bit too fast, so I'm going to move this keyframe that was at 100%. I'm just going to move it over a little bit, so to make that fade in a little bit longer. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the drop pin. I'm going to do it on the second half of the measure. So maybe right there, I'm going to click on the drop pin and do the same thing. I'm going to hit opacity at 100%. And then I'm just going to move the playhead back earlier a little bit. And and then I'm going to drop this to 0. And that's where I would end it, and I would probably, go on to my next clip, something that's a little closer to the house, and then I'd move on from there. So that's it, super easy. And if you're just getting into drone video, you're gonna wanna check out this video up here that goes over my top 5 cinematic drone shots. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And if you would be so kind, please leave a comment for the algorithm. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next one.